Luke Menzies, who joins us here, formerly Ridge Holland. Luke, how are you? And thank you so much for the time this morning.
No, thanks, man. I'm not too bad. Yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for having me.
So, right off the bat, first and foremost, and Bully and I were talking about this during the break. How are you? Like, how are you doing right now?
It's a bit rough to be honest. Like the just all the BS from social media and stuff, and just the situation in general is not not ideal. But we take it day by day. We just try and get through it best we can.
And that's why we wanted you on this morning, because you're so right. Like, with your name attached to all this stuff that's going on with social media and on the internet, we honestly don't know what's the truth, what's bullshit. So we wanted to give you this platform to kind of tell what exactly is the truth and what's going on with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you want to know? Do you know what I mean? Like what in what context? Because go ahead, bully.
Luke, we don't want to ask too many questions before we hear everything that you have to say. Like I was saying to Dave in the break, like I don't know what's fact and not fact. So I don't want to be misleading in my questioning. I don't want to hold your feet to the fire. I don't want to hold the WWE's feet to the fire. Like, what is the brutal, honest truth of this
Yeah.
whole situation?
Okay, the brutal honest truth is, when I renegotiated my deal last year, I renegotiated for a 1 year deal to bet on myself, right? And in that negotiation, it was a 58% pay cut, right? I would challenge anyone to go from 1 day earning a certain amount of money to then taking a 58% pay cut for 12 months. That's going to put you, as you mentioned, hold someone's toes to the fire, right? So the year goes on. Year didn't go as planned as I wanted. Went to TNA, got hurt. A week after surgery, I got told with 4 weeks' notice that my contract wasn't going to be renewed. So in 4 weeks, my money stops. Can't like I have no financial um income, and I can't work for 7 months. I cannot earn a living. Plus the fact that I may have to have a neck fusion on top of the foot as well. So that's where we're at with the injury there. And then what happened was they ended up terminating me because I had some bad news about the house being put in like foreclosure, um, kind of proceedings being put on the house. So I had some bad news that day. So I went on Twitter, foolish of me, but I was full of emotion and I vented. And I said some things that I shouldn't have, and the company viewed that as breach. So they fired me on the spot. I'm a grown man.
Okay, hold on, Luke. I just want to stop you right there for a second because I want to like bring people up to speed. You said things in public on
Mhm.
social media that the WWE felt was disparaging
Correct.
and painting them in a bad light. And it definitely, and I know for a fact it says this in your contract, it says you cannot go public and speak poor of the company. Are we in agreement?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I just want the reason I'm really just putting it out there like that is so the fans who are listening today, the Busted Open Nation, fully understand the contractual
Mm.
aspect of this when it comes to just speaking your mind on social media and not and speaking poorly of the WWE. So please continue.
Yeah. So obviously, I got my wrist slapped for that. That was just a lapse in, well, I don't know what I would say, just clear thinking, a lot of emotion, knowing that my career is the only thing I've known since I came over here was coming to an end with WWE. It's kind of you're in despair. So I was just venting, and unfortunately, it was the wrong decision. And yeah, they ended up, terminating my contract, effective immediately a week before it was due to end, or 9 days or something before it was due to end. Um, so within this time, obviously, family members knew the financial situation. Obviously, having a family, 3 kids, a mortgage, and everything like that. And obviously, I had saved money, but because of the pay cut, those savings went into kind of helping with the shortfall for taking the pay cut. So they were no longer there, right? So the GoFundMe. Now I've been called a scammer. I've been called a scam artist. I've been called a POS, and it's all wrong. The GoFundMe was set up without my knowledge. Okay. When I found out and I looked, people were donating, people like Chelsea Green, Jinder Mahal and stuff. So I thought, okay, well, people obviously understand the situation. When it got to a certain amount, that I thought, okay, this could tide me over until I can actually get back on my feet again. I'll close the GoFundMe. And because of the kindness shown to me, I said, when I can recoup the money myself by earning, I will pay that kindness forward by donating the exact same amount to charity. And somehow that got misconstrued as me being a scammer. Now, I don't know where that comes from, but I just wanted to set the record straight on that because, like, I ain't a scammer. I'm not out there to scam anyone. People donated out of the goodness of their heart to help the situation.
So, Luke, question about the GoFundMe. If
Mhm.
a family member set it up in your best interest
Mhm.
because you were injured and you fell on hard times and you weren't going to be able to earn any money and you
Mhm.
needed some help,
Mhm.
why is that a bad thing?
So for me, as a proud man, I'm a firm believer in that anything that happens to me, it's my cross to bear. I've never asked for help. It's always been my MO. Maybe I'm too proud for my own good. So I started getting some negative comments and negative comments about the GoFundMe, about people that didn't understand the financial situation. Like, why does this guy need to GoFundMe? It takes the piss, this and that. So I thought, okay, I'm going to nip this in the bud right now. I don't want anyone to think that I'm doing anything untowards. I'm going to use the money that's already donated, and like I previously said, use that, and it's going to help me get back on my feet. And it wasn't a bad thing. It was just the fact that, from my standpoint, if they'd have asked me upright, straight up about setting up the GoFundMe, I would have said no because this situation is mine to deal with. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Sure.
understood. So, I mean, I want to backtrack a little bit because, like, you talked about betting on yourself in that year. You know,
Mhm.
the 50%. I don't understand why the 50% pay cut in your salary.
It's because obviously I went from the main roster down to NXT, and then I remember being in a conversation with a head coach, and they threw the number out there, and I was like, "Well, why? Where does this number come from?" Like, and they said to me straight point blank, whoever they is, I asked the question, they couldn't tell me. They said they don't see the value. So I kept asking, like, who's there? I would like to talk to these people in person. I would like to get their side of the story. Because when you tell someone that they're not valued, and it was a contradiction, if they didn't see value, they would cut me right there and then, right? If they didn't see the value. So why offer me a 3-year deal for a 58% pay cut? Which I obviously said, I said, look, I can't be tied in at 3 years for that amount of money. I can't do that. I'll bet on myself for a year. I'll do a year and bet on myself, and then let the chips fall where they may. Um, so I really don't understand where the 50% came from, other than the fact that they said they didn't see the value, and that lit a fire under my ass to say, well, I'll prove you wrong. And obviously things went the way they went. Really, I got taken off TV and. Said to evolve, used it as an opportunity, tried to rebrand myself, went to TNA, had a great time, wrestled Mike, and then the foot injury happened, and then I got, not renewed, and then subsequently fired because of my own actions.
So it was due to the injury. So let me ask you this: you had the year to bet on yourself. Did you get any progress reports during that year? You know, you're taking a big chance, taking a pay cut and betting on yourself. Was there any progress reports from anybody about how you were doing in that year?
I asked the questions. I said, "Is there anything I need to work on?" When I got taken off TV, I was asking, I was pitching ideas. One of the pitches were for me and Inamura to do a best out of 5 series, and I pitched a few things. And I kept asking, is it my promos? Is it my work? What do I need to do? What have I done wrong? And everyone says, no, everything's fine. I'm like, I ain't stupid. Don't piss in my pocket and tell me it's raining. Um, so, and then I remember walking into the training center one day and a head coach pulled me over and said, hey, have you put any feelers out anywhere? And this is out of the blue. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, creative's not been, had your name mentioned and stuff. And I'm like thinking in my head, well, I can't put any feelers out. I'm under contract, you know? So I circled back around with that certain coach. I went, that kind of upset me a bit. Like, do you know anything? I think that the relationship that we have, I think you should let me know if you know anything, if the writing is on the wall. It was like, no, 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 don't know anything. I would just because creative hasn't really brought your name up recently. I'm like, okay. So you can kind of you can kind of put the jigsaw pieces together. Do you know what I mean?
So Luke, if you had to, gun to your head, had to give us a reason this morning that you were let go, released from your contract, that WWE did not want to do business with you anymore, why? What's the reason?
Maybe it's a factor of age, maybe it's a factor of the injuries that I've had, you know. Like it's hard to say because I don't have a reason for why I got like it was always like stop start. I would get somewhere and then it'd stop. They never really put their eggs in the basket, even when I was, had that heel run where I was probably the hottest heel on the brand. They never really capitalized on it, and then they let it fizzle out, and then it was just kind of like a downward trajectory from there. And I thought I did some really good work, and I never got the answers that I wanted. That would kind of give me a little bit of closure as to why things happened. I think it was a mixture of a lot of things. Maybe guys that they thought were more valuable than me. Maybe it was out of injuries that I've had. Because I've always been a pro. I'm not hard to work with. I've never refused to do anything. I'll turn up to work, smile on my face, yes sir, no sir, three bags full, sir. I don't know. Maybe I should have been a bit of an asshole. Maybe I would have got further. I don't know. I really can't answer that.
I mean, I understand what you're saying because Bully saw it straight up at Halloween Havoc last year. It looked like you were getting a major push as one of the top heels in NXT. And like you said, it just seemed to fizzle out over time, which I didn't quite understand because, obviously you have all the tools, your physical presence. I think you were getting much better on the microphone. So I was a little surprised by that. And then you just mentioned what you were doing in TNA and the stuff that you were doing with Mike and then the injury. Do you think if it wasn't for that injury that we wouldn't be having this conversation right now?
Definitely, because if I wasn't injured, regardless of whether I got kind of released or not renewed, I'd have been lacing my boots up and working. I'd have been straight out working, so it wouldn't be an issue. All this stuff that's come out, everything that's happened, would not have been an issue. Um, do I think I might have got not renewed? I think that's 50-50. I think the injury probably played a part. But as far as like everything else about kind of like the financial situation, I'd have just laced them up and gone out onto the Indies and tried to do what someone like Matt Cardona's done, and just try and make the best out of a bad situation.
So, moving forward, where are you at right now physically? When can you get back into a wrestling ring again?
So I've got an appointment with a surgeon on Wednesday about my neck. C5 C6 fusion looking likely. Um, so we're probably looking around probably May of next year.
So, if you have to have this fusion surgery, and I'm assuming that insurance or money is an issue right now, correct?
So what's going to happen is because it's still an open case, WWE will pay for the surgery.
Okay, so WWE is paying for your neck fusion surgery. Okay, they will pay for the rehab also.
I believe so. I mean, unless something else happens, but I believe so, yeah.
They'll most likely do everything that they're legally supposed to do. So you get your fusion surgery, and so you're out for about a year, correct?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
What would you, as of right now, what would you like to do?
Right now, well, I've taken a couple of bookings for signings and things like that. But as far as, wrestling, I've started a YouTube channel. I'm trying to get into online coaching because fitness is a big thing in my life. But everything takes time to get rolling. If you're starting businesses and things, it takes time. Um, but at the minute, it's just trying to kind of keep myself afloat any which way I can, with signings and things of that nature. As far as like getting in the wrestling ring, I'll have to cross that bridge when I come to it. I don't know if I this whole thing has kind of like soured my taste for it really, because even though I had a quite a long career with WWE, it was always stop start, and I never really felt like I, scratched the surface. So it's like, well, is the juice worth the squeeze now after putting my body through this will be my eighth surgery in 8 years. So it's like, is is the juice worth the squeeze when I'm 60 and I've got, I want to play with my kids? Is it worth it? You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this, Luke. It's your eighth surgery in 8 years. If the WWE thought you were injury prone and had to let you go, can you see their point of view on that?
Yeah, totally. I'm not, I'm not silly. I understand the business side of it. I totally do. I totally do. Like I hold my hands up about the tweet. I understand the business side of it. I understand that for the money that probably they were investing, albeit a small one in me, were they getting a return for it? No, because obviously time out for injuries, it all adds up. So I get it. Totally get it.
Is it more of, and I think this is probably an issue across the board in a lot of different places. Is it mostly because of the lack of communication? Like, because there wasn't anybody giving you your progress reports or telling you these things that you're finding out now?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to say, listen, this is what we're thinking, or this is why. I mean, I sent text to the head guy asking to meet, and I got ghosted like 3 times. So you kind of know it, but I just wish that there would have been an open line of discourse where they could have told me earlier. I said, listen, we don't think we're going to renew. Like, earlier on when they took me off, then at least I could have put a plan in place, you know. But to leave it to the last minute with zero communication, because I thought things were on the up when I had that match with Mike, and I thought, okay, this could be a catalyst for something. And then the injury came, and then subsequently the contract not being renewed. I just felt that there could have been a little bit better communication there. Like even when I went to TNA, it was like, well, what do you guys want? Not TNA, but WWE. What do you guys want from me here? And it was like, I don't know.
When it comes to situations like this, uncomfortable situations like this, any wrestling company more often than not will go the very contractual legal route of who they have get in touch with you, and it'll be done in a very cold way in which here it is, we're letting you go, thank you for your service, goodbye.
Mhm.
It's not going to be a phone call from the top saying, hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate what you did. We really appreciate what you did. Because they're not going to want to have to answer all of the questions that you have. What could I have done better? What did I do wrong? Why don't you like me? They're going to lower it to its least common denominator and say,
Yeah.
thanks, we're not moving forward. Oh, by the way, we're putting you in breach of contract because you said bad things about us in public. And it says right your contract you can't do that. And this is why I I always tell wrestlers, young wrestlers, old wrestlers, learn how to read your own contract and understand what it means and the repercussions. And I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm just saying you fell into into the traps that they put into the contract of don't you dare say a bad word about us, even if the situation seems wrong to you.
Mhm. Yeah, no, you're spot on. You're right. But even I know I've had many friends get let go, and I understand the process of how it goes. One phone call from a nameless, faceless office member. Um, but regarding the conversation, I just thought there could have been a bit more kind of like communication earlier on as to like what I needed to do, so at least I could turn stuff around or do whatever. But yeah, like I said, the
I
contracts.
understand. I understand, Luke, and the fact that, like, in this situation, in this business, and obviously I talk about it, but I've never been in the ring to do what you've been able to do, how gifted you are to be able to do what you do. You put your body on the line, and that's the business you chose. And it sounds like you would have liked a little bit of more communication and maybe a little bit heart behind what you've given up and now what you've eventually are going to lose. When you look at the GoFundMe, and I know it wasn't your idea to put the GoFundMe up, but the outcry of people coming to your aid, knowing your situation, like, is that a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that there's people within the industry that know what you gave up and sacrificed, but also fans that loved your work and understand how talented you are?
Yeah, it's very humbling, and even from the people that are in the business that know the situation. Like I'm friends with Chelsea, I'm tight with Jinder, Omos. I know those guys. Those I consider those friends, so they know exactly what I'm going through. They're not, so it's very easy for someone on the periphery to cast judgment on a situation that they don't really know about. So I'm very grateful that those guys do support me and understand the situation. As for the fans, yeah, I mean it's very humbling, but it's also not that I'm not grateful. I am, but it's like it makes me feel uneasy that people are like. I feel like a lot of the time as a man, you need to dig yourself out of your own mess, and sometimes it makes me a little uneasy when people are. I don't want to feel like a charity case. Do you know what I mean?
I understand.
But Luke, sometimes people do need help, and what's to say that you needing help is any different than anybody else needing help? And you said it yourself, you're not the one who set up your own GoFundMe. A family member did and didn't ask your permission. That's the honest truth, right?
Honest truth.
And your friends in the wrestling business and fans donated and tried to come to your aid. And the reason why you stopped it is because you've been getting so much backlash on it, right?
Mhm.
But you've been getting backlash from nameless, faceless people whose opinion does not matter on social media. So, knowing the man that you are, you've said, all right, hold on. I'm going to stop the GoFundMe, and any money that is in this account that I will put towards my rehabilitation, when I'm able to earn this money back, I will donate it to charity, correct?
Correct.
That seems like a very it seems like the right thing to do from your point of view. It's like, I'm not going to take advantage of the situation and I will donate the money back. Maybe you actually offer the individual people who donated to you the option of, hey, Mike in Wisconsin, thank you for the $20. I've been able to make that $20 back. Would you like the money back, or can I put it towards the charity fund? If I see you go out of your way to take that short-term money to help you out, and then when you're able to recoup it, be willing to pay it back to the people who helped get you through the problem, that's a fucking stand-up thing. You're rock
Yeah.
solid in my book.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I would do that logistically if I could do that, and I'm sure there's a way that I can through like getting in contact with GoFundMe and getting people's details and things like that. For sure. Instead of taking it to a charity that someone might not want to, the money to go to. Yeah, of course I would do that. Of course, there's no question about it.
And I think part of the problem too, Luke, is social media. Who gives a shit what these people are saying? Like, seriously, if they were in that situation, what would they do? I mean, I think you're being a stand up man by doing what you're doing. Like, I feel like there is nothing wrong at all with what you have done, and the fact that you have to feel the way that you're feeling is unbelievable. Because this is a an event with you being gone from the WWE. You put a lot of eggs into that WWE basket. You have a family that you need to support. You have a mortgage that you have to pay. You're injured, that you can't do the job that you've been training for years to do. I don't think there is anything at all wrong with this situation at all. And I don't think you have to feel any certain way about it at all.
I appreciate that, Dave, and I think it is one of the things that I need to work on is obviously the social media side of stuff because over the past few years it's been a big thorn in my side with different situations and stuff, and I just felt like it was one of the things where you try and do the right thing, and in certain people's eyes they will spin anything you say into a negative light. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. And the main thing that like when people are calling me a scammer, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm that's kind of like defamation on my character. And if that becomes widely accepted, because we know how fast social media can spread and perceptions and things like that, that could affect me, my income as well. You know, promotions and things like that. We all see how it spreads and people get affected by, you know, like things that aren't really true. So that was one of the that was like a little bit of a reason as for why as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
What's done is done. I wouldn't. I would just move forward. Whatever money you were able to that was raised for you, I would use towards your rehabilitation or your family or your mortgage or whatever. And then the day comes when you can recoup that money. If you feel it in your heart to repay that money, then that's the right thing to do for you as a man. Don't let the people on social media get you down. I know it's a lot easier said than done. It takes very, very thick skin in the wrestling business to be able to let the stuff on social media roll off your back. Take care of your family, heal up, get strong again. And when the time is right, make the decision of what you want to do. I think you're very good at what you do. I think you're a good dude. You're a respectful dude. You were fun to work with. And I have nothing but positive things to say about you and to you. Don't let these motherfuckers take you down.
I appreciate it, Bully. Thank you.
and if you do decide, Luke, to continue with the pro wrestling business, you can always use our show and this brand to communicate with your audience. You always have that platform. You're always welcome to come on. I know you're going through that tough situation, but if this is an industry that you truly want to continue with, we will help in any way to get the word out.
Thanks, I appreciate it. You guys have always been a class act. Like whenever I've worked with you guys, so I appreciate your help. Like I love pro wrestling. I love it. So I can't see myself not doing something related to it. But like I said, I crossed that bridge. But I just want to say thanks to you guys because you've been nothing but class acts.
Luke,
Thanks,
thank you,
Luke.
man, and good luck. And if you need anything, please, you always have a platform here. So thank you for taking the time to come on with us today. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All
Take
right,
care, Luke.
God bless, man.